Hey guys, welcome back to the Tarsha Homestead. I'm Alex, and welcome to my disaster of a kitchen. So this winter, somewhere around late December, early January, I had gotten a wild hair up my butt and started demoing the kitchen. Here it is, almost September, and obviously it's still not done. That's in large part due to how much we've decided to take on ourselves. We could have done this faster if we had hired pros, but we were willing to sacrifice the convenience of the speed to do it ourselves because there were a few key things that we didn't want to sacrifice. One of those for me, Emily had different priorities than I did, but the priority for me was after looking around a whole bunch at different cabinetry, even custom cabinetry makers, so many of them used like either a melamine or a particle board or a press board type material. And I don't blame them at all. They have to save costs because people don't want to spend $20,000 on a kitchen. However, I have a CNC router, I have a woodworking capability, I have a workshop, and I have a local woodworking store where I can buy this stuff in bulk. So I decided to go ahead and tackle all of the cabinets myself. Emily really didn't want me to. She was nervous that, if I didn't do things up to her standard, that it would hurt my feelings when she wasn't satisfied with the work. So one of the things I've been doing as we've been going through this project is consulting her a ton. That's how we'll combat that, is she can come out and look at the work that I'm doing. If she doesn't like something the way it's coming together, then that's an opportunity for me to stop, toss it aside, redo it in a different way. That way I get the quality cabinets I want, she gets the finish that she wants, and in the end we're both happy because the reality is we save a ton of money. I think in the cabinets total, including everything that I haven't yet installed, I think we're going to be under $5,000. The guess that I would have for what we would pay for this from a custom cabinetry shop would be upwards of $15,000. I guess I don't know that for a fact, but we did get a couple quotes for different cabinets and they weren't quite as nice as this, and they were over 10. So I think we're doing great. So anyway, I got the wild hair up my butt because this wall right here behind me was really screwing up our ability to do any kind of layout here in the kitchen. We had just bought new appliances and we decided we wanted to upgrade to a 36-inch range. And previously there was a 30-inch range right here. So obviously we had to take out one of those cabinets, take off the countertops in order to fit the 36-inch range in there. It wasn't ideal. We knew it wasn't what we wanted permanently. It was just a way to make it work for the time being. And we worked with that for probably close to a year, just kind of a mashed together kitchen. The other thing that wasn't working for us was it had a single vertical pantry and I think 18 inches wide or something like that. So that was all of the storage that we had. Here on this wall, there was a window, a very tall window, so we couldn't put any lower cabinets over here. We couldn't put upper cabinets over here because the window that you can't see right now on the wall opposing me goes so close into the corner that there was no room to be able to butt up against that wall. It would actually overhang the window itself. So we knew that there was a lot of reconfiguration that we were going to have to do in order to get the cabinet space, counter space, and flow that we really wanted. So Connor and I decided to go ahead and take that wall out. We started by chipping off some of the plaster, and it was lath underneath. We saved every bit of that lath, and Emily used it to make some really cool stuff like these trivets that we're using for hot pots and pans. The 2x4s that made up this wall we're going to use to make a coffee table for the living room. We've also done another project where Emily made a custom frame for a aerial photo that we got done online of the property back in 1964, and I'll put a photo up here where you can see it. Here's another one of the trivets that she made. It's just really cool. We really get a kick out of keeping every bit of that wall that we had to take out in the house. We know that it's not ideal to take a 1920s home and start removing walls and stuff. That it takes away some of the character of it. But the reality was the way this room was laid out just did not work. Originally, there was a wood burning stove here for cooking and everything, and that tied into this chimney. We couldn't even see this chimney. It was plastered over, and so it just looked like a little bulkhead bump out on the wall. I knew that the chimney was here because in the basement it's not plastered over, so you could see the brick coming up to the basement. But what we didn't know was what kind of shape it was in underneath the plaster here. So after Connor and I had pulled this wall down, luckily it wasn't load bearing. There was nothing we had to do. I drilled a hole in the top plate and stuck a camera up there to investigate, and there was nothing above it. It wasn't load bearing at all. So we took this wall out, and when we took the wall out, it exposed the backside of this brick, which was awesome. And it was super exciting because we got to see that the brick was in good quality, or in good shape. So then we came in here with just a hammer and a chisel and just started knocking all the plaster off of here. And I mean, look at it, it's gorgeous. I'm so excited about it. So once we had the brick exposed, that was our opportunity to start picking out some colors and things. And Emily knew she wanted a more rustic look to kind of suit her farmhouse vibe for this, but she didn't want to just go typical Pinterest farmhouse and go throw shades of green and white on everything. She wanted something that was a little bit more craftsman, and so the wood tones really spoke to her. We went and we looked at 5-6 different hardwoods before we decided on red oak with a which one is this? I think this is an espresso stain on white oak. Red oak, not white oak, sorry. The white oak was gorgeous, but it was 2 to 3 times the cost per board foot. So we went with red oak with a little bit of stain on it. And then this is 3/4 inch birch plywood that's UV coated already has a finish on it. And then I just used my CNC and a software called Mosaic to cut it all out. Designed the whole kitchen in Mosaic using some really precise measurements, and then it creates the G code that I give my CNC, carves it right out, take the things, glue them together, and then the actual real woodworking that I have to do is like making these face frames, making the doors, and making the drawer frames and covers. Obviously I haven't gotten to the doors or the drawer faces yet, but I have made the drawers. And I made these out of Baltic birch plywood, so real high quality, high-end plywood. And I bought the Bloom undermount slides in a really high quality Movento slides. So they work really nicely. I've already calculated that into the cost I told you. I told you it was about $4,000, $5,000 I think for all of the cabinetry. That includes about $1,000 in drawer slides and hinges for the doors. So next, we're going to need to do counters. We haven't picked those out just yet. And the flooring is done. I'll show you a close-up of the floor, but the floor was a fiasco in and of itself. When we came in here, I tore up the old tile, and underneath the old tile was a layer of self-leveling concrete. So we broke that out, and underneath that was a layer of asbestos tile. So I had a special company come out who specializes in that environmental restoration type stuff and evaluate it. And they said they didn't think it was asbestos, but they wouldn't know unless we sent it off to a lab. After consulting with them for a while, we decided that it was safe enough for me to suit up, wearing a respirator, a suit, putting up plastic across here, and we have a large HEPA air cleaner that we had over here in the corner, and I just came in here with a track saw with a built-in dust extractor, and I cut a grid pattern into the floor so that I could come in and chisel up big, like 4 foot by 4 foot sections without making a whole bunch of dust, and disposed of those per their instructions. Underneath that was a layer of 5/8 inch plywood, and underneath that was a layer of the original floor. The really cool thing was on that original floor, it was like a tongue and groove wood, but it wasn't a hardwood, it was a softwood like a pine. And you could see where the original wood stove used to sit right here and pipe into the chimney, and I just thought that was really cool. We did everything we could to try to salvage that floor. I worked with like 3 different professionals trying to find a way to salvage it. Unfortunately, it just wasn't feasible. It was too far gone. Some water damage, termite damage, and stuff over the years. So as I looked at pulling that floor out and trying to find something period correct to go in there, we realized that the floor joists in the kitchen are actually physically higher than the floor joists in the dining room. So there was no way to do that and have them uniform across the two rooms. So there was going to be a transition no matter what. That kind of threw a hurdle into some of our island plans. We figured, okay, maybe you could have an island with two transitions up into the kitchen on either side. We ultimately settled on a peninsula sticking out from the chimney. We had a couple different reasons for that. Ultimately, I'm perfectly satisfied. I'm really glad we went this route with the peninsula. And we're gonna go with like a 36-inch wide slab on top of it so that you can have bar stool seating behind here. Up here where the top of the wall used to be, we're gonna build a faux beam and we'll have pendant lights coming down right here above the peninsula. Pay no attention to the stainless steel table that's in here. This is just a prep table that we brought in for doing some of the canning and stuff we were doing recently that actually won't stay. So we moved the fridge over into this corner and built a pantry around it. And it's a very, very large 36-inch wide pantry with a 36-inch wide shelf above the fridge. And yeah, so as far as what remains now is a hood vent. I already own the hood vent itself. I just need to build a cabinet for it. And then I have another matching cabinet just like this one that'll go on the other side of that. This window that I'll end up turning the camera so you can see this other direction. There's a window here and it goes too far into that corner. That's gonna get replaced. We're replacing all the windows in the house. And that window is going to get replaced with one that's slightly narrower so that we have enough room there for cabinets to terminate up against that wall. And then I just have the end panels to make for each of these and the back panel for the peninsula and an end panel for the side of the fridge. That will wrap up all of the cabinets, of course, except for the doors and drawer faces. So I'm going to come and grab the camera and then give you a view of that angle of the kitchen as well. Okay, so I'm pretty sure from this angle, I can no longer see the camera and I forgot exactly where I set it up, but I think you can see the corner here of this wall. So you can see why this window needs to change because nothing can go into that corner without overhanging the window itself. We wanted to keep this door, it's a cool original door. And it has a really nice transom window above it that's original. One thing that's really cool is this original hardware didn't work at all. It was painted over for years and years. I took it apart, cleaned it up, and put it back together. And now we have a working transom window here. It's a little squeaky. I need to figure out a way to prevent it from squeaking. But the nice thing about that is that heat rises. So we'll be able to open that when we're cooking in here with the vent going on the hood. It'll move the air right across there, pull that heat right out. It's gonna be phenomenal. This solved a lot of our pantry problem. Now we have a 36-inch wide pantry and a 36-inch wide shelf above the fridge. Right now we've got this stuff in here, but that will all go above the fridge once we put that shelf in there. And we did the same thing with those Movento bloom slides. They're very, very soft closing, very nice high quality slides. That's a big part of the chunk of the money went into this drawer slides. So I made 4 trays for here and I should have made 5. 4 just isn't enough. I just kind of calculated this bottom one being so much taller and as you can see, that's a lot of wasted space there. So I need to make another tray for that so that we have a little bit more storage in this area and that should solve that. And you can see here, I still have to make the end panel that's gonna come all the way to the ground and then be that red oak right there covering that. So by eliminating that window, opening up this wall, we got a whole bunch more light. We've got pass through. We've got the ability to sit at the peninsula. We've got all of that prep surface there now that's uninterrupted by having a stove right in the middle of it. We went a little bit wider than the old cabinetry was before, so we got a lot more counter space there. By eliminating that window, we got to be able to put cabinets on this wall that we didn't have at all before, so we got a lot more counter space there. And for the time being, we just threw our old sink with the old countertop just sitting here for now so that we have a sink while we work on the remodel. Obviously, we're not going to keep plywood countertops. This is just to make the space usable while we finish working on it, and then we'll have real countertops made for this. One of the things that's nice about building your own cabinets and designing them is that you get to make everything the way you want. We decided to do an air fryer built in here because we use it constantly. Our kids are always making pizza rolls or whatever in there, so it's nice to have that built in. A little bit of framing to do still with some ventilation in there and some electrical to do, but ultimately very, very happy with that because now it's not taking up counter space. So we've got all that valuable counter space available for when we're canning or whatever. We made custom shelves here, and that's adjustable, and then I made custom vertical shelving here for all of our different like cutting boards and stoneware, etc. So that's working out really, really well. We've also done the pots and pans inside of shelves 100 times, and we love the pots and pans inside the drawers. With these really high-end slides, we've got a ton of weight in here, and it just slides super smooth. So I've been very, very satisfied with that. Another great change that's coming as the result of remodeling the kitchen is that we have can lighting in here. This had the original light fixture right here, single bulb, single light fixture. There was not much light inside the kitchen at all. Now we have the ability to see everything we're doing really, really well. I'm very happy with that. That was a premium upgrade. So back to everything we have left to do. Flooring is done. The cabinets are built. They aren't all installed. I still have one cabinet to install here, and then I have to custom make a hood vent cabinet. Then I have all of the door faces and drawer faces to build and install those. Lastly will be the kick plates that go along the very bottom. After that, we have the end panels that go on the edge of the dishwasher, the side of the utensil thing, and beside the fridge. And then we have cabinet or countertops to come in, and our backsplash, which is going to be like a white subway tile. On the ceiling, we have some of the old leftover reclaimed barn wood from our buildings out there, and we're going to do slats on the ceiling just because we like the look. And then the faux beam that we have to build for the pendant lights above the peninsula. So overall, we made a ton of progress. We still have a lot of work to do, but everything's in the finishing touches. We have to make the doors and then put them on and get them perfectly aligned and then add the handles. Those sorts of things take a lot of time, but they make all the difference in the appearance of the space. Overall, we're super stoked about this. It is such a better layout for us and the way we work. We have a lot of counter space to be able to do prep work. We have the big stove. We have the ability to look out the window at our animals with a nice big sink when this is all said and done. And we added a dish disposal, which we didn't have before. The electrical's all been upgraded. The lighting has been upgraded. The floor is improved. The appearance of everything is better. The quality of the stuff is phenomenal. So overall, this was a worthwhile project. We've saved a lot of money, but moving forward, I'm gonna start making more video as I go on the different processes that I take on. I just wanted to catch you up to where I was today because I haven't done any videos to date. So next, I think the very next video will probably be making the end panel for right here beside the fridge, and I'll take you along for that journey and show you how it goes. Please follow and subscribe and check it out, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.